Maurice here. This is going to be my new segment that I'm doing on my channel, and it's called Dojo Tips. And it's basically all the things that I learned from teaching, trying to build up classes, trying to do that, and also starting my own business. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there for everyone to know. This isn't because I'm a vastly successful dojo owner or because I had several gyms or anything of that nature. This is the things that I found out later after my business actually had failed. And that was even after the fact that I was looking through all sorts of stuff that I could find. I mean, I couldn't afford, buying all sorts of stuff. I mean, I had a family, I had bills, I had all sorts of things I had to worry about. And, going out and buying a book on, how to build your business when you could try to just basically find, free stuff out there, free resources and things like that. It was great. But they don't tell you the things that, honestly, that I failed at. They never really cover these things. And honestly, I find it hard to find things that cover certain areas that I failed at. And it was because it wasn't very specific. It wasn't specific at all, actually, because a lot of them they tell you things, but they don't tell you everything. And it's like, unless you pay their fee. I mean, that's where it always bothered me. It bothered me because everyone seems to want to be, you're like supporting their business by trying to find out how to make money on your own business. So that always struck me a little weird. Maybe that's just the way I think. But, so these are going to be a few tips on basically how to go about starting a martial arts business. Because like I said, these are things I've discovered later, after the fact, talking to successful business owners, and actually dealing with all the ins and outs of owning a business, following a business, and following business plans. Not all of which are for martial arts business, but then you have to start applying it to a martial arts business to figure out what I did wrong. And these are things that I realized what I did wrong, but at the same time, it was like, okay, could I probably successfully do it now? Yes, but I have no desire to do it again. It has nothing to do with it. I'll get into that some other time. But for right now, we're going to get into the very first segment of Dojo Tips. And I want to start this off with simple things. I'm not going to get into like the mechanics of running a business and things like that, because that will come later. And seriously, these are things you should probably know anyway, but we'll get into that. I will cover that, but I'm not going to do everything all at once. So we're going to start it off with just this one first. Here's your first part of starting a martial arts business. So here you are, maybe you're already teaching. Maybe you're already thinking about starting your own school. You want to open up your own dojo. You want to do something that incorporates martial arts because of your love or passion for martial arts or whatever it is. And this is where I'm going to go ahead, and this is the first step that I tell you to do. And this is because the reason why it's critical, and where some people might think I'm a little off, I don't know, but this is what I'm going to tell you right now. The first step, what's your biggest goal? What is the dream in your brain? And I mean shoot for the stars on this one. Shoot for the stars when it comes to the big final goal, like your end game. Like, what's your big thing? Is it having the largest MMA gym with, champions training there with, people well known, all coming from all over the place, like they do at American Top Team or things like that? Or are you looking to open up a school that reminds you or reminds people of the Japanese or Chinese or Korean actual dojangs and or dojos or schools, whatever it is, with actually putting the ornamental things in there, and you actually put the school to make it look like an oriental building, in those cultures, and kind of have it all that way, that everything that resembles that dojo or that feel of that old traditional style. Do you want it to be kind of sawdust on the floor, kind of gritty? What are you going for that reason? So your dream has to be it has to encompass that part. It has to be able to supply the need for all the things that you would want to do in the far, far future. This is your far future, okay? So it can be anything. It can be this huge dream, okay? And then you got to see, okay, wow, do you want multiple schools? Do you want a chain of schools? Do you want, I mean, is that your dream? Do you want to have a big, like, this is your big center? Like, I got the big gym here, and that's the focal point, but I have multiple places across the U.S. or even overseas. I mean, is that where you're transfixed? Where are you going? What's your idea? Okay? Then you go down to the next stage there, okay? Because that's why I say goal first. Get the big goal first, the really big one. And then you go with the little goal inside that goal, and that's the goal to help get there at the same time. Well, then the next goal would be, okay, well, then I need to have a school of, I don't know, like 100 students. A solid school that I'm teaching full-time, and it's covering all my bills. It's covering everything. I'm teaching full-time. This is my job. And then you got the other part down here, which is I'm teaching part-time. I'm working part-time, and I'm teaching part-time. And it's supplying, but at the same time, I still need that job to kind of support at the same time. So you have that process there. And some people might already be there at this point. Okay, and then we got our ground level. This is where you are. You might be only have like a handful of students, 5 to 15 students, and they're all probably like friends of yours or something like that. No one's, you're kind of in and out of payments or whatever, if people are paying at all. So you kind of have that kind of going on, or you're just at the bare bones, you don't have anything right now, and you would just really like to start. So this is where we start out here at that ground level. But if you do not have that big ultimate goal here, if your big ultimate goal is to only do garage and backyard trainings with like a handful of people, that's actually very easy to attain. The reason why I say to shoot for a very large goal if you want to make this your job, you have to shoot high. You got to shoot for the moon, okay? You got to go shoot for the Milky Way, and you'll probably land on Mars or in Jupiter. So it's like you got to set it up here. You're looking for setting yourself up on like if I did a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I'm shooting for a 10, because then I will land about 7, 8, maybe even a 9. So that way, even if I didn't attain the full thing that I was looking at, the full spectrum, I came really close, and it's really good. I mean, still, bar none, probably one of the best things to look at. Maybe you exceed it because something happened. You were able to attain something, and it actually exceeds your expectations. But shoot for that 10. Shoot for that 10. Go for broke, because then you fall into the higher numbers. Okay, then you fall in. But because if you shoot down here, I mean, I'm shooting for a 2. You're gonna be at a 0. You're not even gonna land on your feet. You're never even gonna get started. And it's because you have a low expectation. And it's never going to cover anything that you really wanted to do, and you're going to end up like me and just training here and there and never really going very far. Because I was kind of one of that person. My idea was shoot for 2. I want a small group of people that I can just train with on a regular basis. That's it. I didn't have any desires to teach. The only reason why I like teaching is because I like helping people learn how to protect themselves. That's the reason why I have the YouTube channel that I have, and that's the reason why I do the things that I do. So that's another thing. That's where you're at here at 1. This is where the goal setting is. Where do you want to be? If you do not see yourself going up here, where do you see yourself? Maybe your big goal is just to teach full time. Have your own school teaching full time. Boom. That's your top goal. You're not even expecting to have branches of 3 or 4 schools. You're not expecting that. Then shoot for that goal. At the very minimum, shoot for that goal. You try to just go and push yourself. And don't go and here's the thing. Don't get overly, we'll talk about that later. But for now, what this video is about right now is goal setting. What's your goal? What's your big giant goal? How do you attain, what do you need to have to attain that bigger goal? What do you need to have to attain that goal before you can attain that goal? And where are we starting now? And how do we go from this point here, from this bare bones thing where we're at here, to attain our first goal, where it is probably more of a part-time teaching? Well, it might be, if you're at 0, you're not teaching at all, and you want to start teaching because maybe you are a black belt or something. Another thing, make sure you have a good understanding. I would only start a school if you were a 2nd to 3rd Dan in a style, and or certified as a expert instructor for whatever system that doesn't do belts. Make sure that you're at a high enough level that you understand the art in and out, not just I have the basic understanding. I went and attained my first black, and now I'm going to start my own school, because now you're not going to have enough understanding of what to do, of what to teach, and now you're just going to start being one of the problems that the martial arts has, and that's watering down the system because you just don't have enough knowledge of what happens. You don't have enough knowledge of there. MMA gyms are different because you can take your knowledge, but then you can start getting people with their knowledge and acquiring their knowledge in there as coaches. So you could have a grappling coach because you don't have grappling experience. You get a grappling coach, or maybe you need a striking coach because you're a wrestler and So you can do all these different facets. It's a little bit different because then you can kind of go in there as like partners, and that's where that becomes a different scene. And that's another thing. Do you want partners? Or do you want to do this by yourself? Do you want this to be an open forum? I mean, what do you want from your school? Like, that's what you got to think of it too. Not just what do you want from you. It's how do you see yourself attaining the goal that you see in the future? If you don't, and so you have to map it out. Map the biggest goal first. Map out like I said, go as big as you can or as big as you want. Like your main dream, your super duper dream, that's what you want first. And then you start condensing. What do I need to get there next? What do I need to get there? What do I need to get there? Because then you start seeing the layers of the steps. And then you start seeing, okay, well now I need to set the goals for there. So like this is going to be a topic right now. I have no students. I want to start teaching. I do have insight training. I just have never been. I've wanted to instruct, but I've been so busy. My life has kind of just been busy, and now I'm just getting to a stage in my life that I would like to start teaching on a regular basis. How do I start? How you start is start showcasing what you know. And I don't mean by YouTube, because the followings you get on that could be very minimal at best. You want to be able to start showcasing what you do. So you guys start goal setting of how do I start showing people what I know? How do I start bringing those people in to knowing what I know? And we're going to cover that in a few more tips. But first, I want everyone to just first take this first dojo tip, and that's set your goals. Go big and start condensing down to a smaller level, and then start stepping it up from there. Because now we have this scale. The scale is way up here. I'm way down here. How do I make my step ladder to get to my dream? And that's what it is. It's a ladder to your dream. So make sure you're making the right steps. You're making the right rungs on the ladder to make sure you're getting up there. Okay? You want to make sure you're getting up there, and you're getting up there safely and securely, and you actually have a full knowledge of what you want before you get there. Okay? So never stop dreaming. Always go for your goals. Dream big, go big, and make your goals come true. Just make sure you're doing it intelligently and educated. Okay? Alright, I'll talk to you guys later for the next dojo tips. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time, okay? There'll be next Monday will be my next dojo tips. Wednesday will be my next martial arts chat, and I think Fridays will start being my combat self-defense techniques. So stay tuned to that. We're going to be seeing the 3 videos a week. I kind of have time on my hands right now, so 3 videos a week. You're going to see them. I hope to see you guys again. Leave comments below what you would like to hear about, okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye.